Hey guys, welcome back to today. So today is another nunchuck class. So what we're going to be doing today is we're just going to be learning our figure eights, right? We haven't really covered this, but it's pretty simple, basic, and I'm going to show you something. If you know how to do figure eights already, right? This is a figure eight, by the way. If you know how to do that already, I'm going to be having you do double chucks, right? So if you already know how to do it, grab two. All right, so a figure eight has a few things that we need to or terminology we need to describe. First, let's describe a circle. This is a circle, right? Or a spin. All right, so let's first go with directions. So the first thing is this is an inward circle, right? So I denote inward as the top part of the circle, right? So I make a full circle. Now if I was to cut that in half completely horizontally, the top part of it, the chuck is moving towards me, right? The bottom part moves away, but the top part moves towards me. That is inward. Now an outward is this, right? So you see how if I cut that circle in half, the top part of that circle has the chuck moving from me out and away from me. That is an outward, all right? So outward circle, I know it's a little harder to see from this angle, but this is an outward circle, and this is an inward circle. A figure eight is when you do a circle on one side and then a circle on the other side. So I go from one direction to the other direction, and there's a few different ways we can do figure eights. But now, as you're looking at this, this is an outward figure eight. You see how that circle is still there and the top part of the circle is moving out away from me? Now this is an inward figure eight. So you see how the top part of the circle is moving in towards me? That would be an inward. And then we also have directionals here. So this is inside. Anything in between my hands is inside. Anything outside of my hands is outside, right? So these are two inward outside circles. These are two inward inside circles. All right, and then this would be the same thing if I would go outwards. All right, these are outside circles, and these are inside outward circles. All right, terminology, you're gonna have to figure that out. All right, so the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna do a figure eight, and let's do it with our right hand. We're going to do a big figure eight. All right, so big figure eight looks like, all right, this is a big figure eight. So this is an outward big figure eight. So the difference between a big figure eight and a small figure eight is where I'm rolling at, right? So right now my wrist is what's rotating. So the rotation point's at my wrist. Now if I do this is a small figure eight, you can see how the chuck that I'm holding is still, but the end of the chuck that I'm holding is where the rotation point is. So this is a smaller figure eight, and this is a bigger figure eight. All right, small and big. So I want us to do, we're gonna do 30 seconds of big figure eight, and then we're gonna go to 30 seconds of small figure eight with the right hand, all right? And let's do outward first, all right? So going out and away from you. Ready? Begin. So outward, big figure eight. I'm kind of slowing it down so you can see. Notice I can do this one with a stick as well. The chucks that I'm holding, they're not bending, right? I'm not doing this. See how I bent the chuck? I keep it straight. Now when I do this also, do not open your grip. You should not do this, right? Don't do that. Keep a relaxed but firm grip on it. Big figure eight. All right, so now we're gonna do a small outward figure eight. Small outward figure eight, 30 seconds, just like this. And now you probably can't hear it because I'm wearing a microphone. But every time I do this, there's a sound, right? And I count those whenever I'm doing them for certain things. I will get into that a little bit later, but just notice that there is a sound, and it's the string popping off of the edge of the chuck that you're holding, right? So just be aware. And now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do the same thing with our other side. Now if this is too easy for you, before I start the time, practice both of them, right? Practice your big ones, right? You can do two hands at the same time. You can go here with your small figure eights. Small figure eights are going to be easier with two hands, just FYI. All right, left hand, big figure eight, outwards. Begin. Remember, it's just like a stick on this. The rotation point is at your wrist. Keep your firm but relaxed grip. Keep this going. Figure eight, so it's moving from the outside to the inside constantly. And then if you look at it from the side, when it's making that circle, the top part of the circle is outwards. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do our small outward figure eights. left hand, small outward figure eights, just like this. Remember, the rotation point is now at the end of the chuck. As you're looking at it, the chuck that I'm holding doesn't move too much. It has to move a little bit side to side, but it's not moving a whole lot, right? As you look at it from the front, you can see that my figure eight is relatively narrow as well. I'm not trying to do big, wide figure eights. I'm trying to get it relatively narrow, pretty tight as I do this. Time. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do it on our inward figure eights. All right, so inward big figure eight, just like this. Keep it relatively straight whenever you're doing it. And begin. Right hand. Big figure eight. Now when you're doing these big figure eights, make sure that you're really avoiding your body. If I go too center line, I can do that and hit myself in the chest or the face. Face hurts. Not as much with the foam chucks, but it does hurt, trust me. Don't do it. I don't advise it. All right. Nice, relaxed, but firm grip as you're doing it. And again, if this is too easy for you, then do it with both hands at the same time. All right, now we're going to do small figure eights. And begin. Small inward figure eight. Just like this. Goes from the inside to the outside. The chuck that you're holding doesn't move too much. If you feel comfortable, speed it up. If you're not quite comfortable with that yet, keep it a nice slow pace. And big figure eight, inward figure eight on the other side. Big one, right? Roll at that wrist. And you can make it even bigger by going side to side, right? And I can use my shoulder as my rotation point for this, but that's a little bit bigger than what I will usually be doing. If I'm thinking Kali though, right? Kali strikes 3 and 4 time are those big ones with the shoulder, right? I can have this figure eight going, and that's my upward slashes with my blade as I'm doing Kali. All right, now we're gonna do small figure eights. And begin. Small inward figure eight. Just like this. Goes from the inside to the outside. The chuck that you're holding doesn't move too much. If you feel comfortable, speed it up. If you're not quite comfortable with that yet, keep it a nice slow pace. And time. All right, so next thing that we're going to do is we're going to try doing doubles. If you're not there yet, just do one. It's fine. If you're there, though, let's do it. All right? Outward figure eights, doubles at the same time. So these are simultaneous figure eights. And now when you're doing this, we're going to be doing these ones with our chucks with the small figure eights, right? I can do this, but see how awkward this is for me? My arms are really extended out. It's just not a comfortable thing. I can keep my arms in a lot closer as I do this, and I can actually start to alternate and have these being my strikes, right? Right now, though, just go here. And time. Same thing, inward figure eights. Go. Now, like everything else, there's multiple ways that we can change this up. Right? So right now I'm doing what would be a simultaneous mirror version, right? Which means both the chucks are on the inside or the outside at the same time, right? This is a mirror, right? Then we have here, which is same side. So now both of them are on the left side of the chuck I'm holding, both of them are on the right side. Now you see how they're moving in unison versus here and time, where they're just mirroring each other. So be aware of that difference as well. All right, so now we're gonna have a challenge. It's gonna be the last one that we're gonna do. We're going to try to do an inward figure eight and an outward figure eight at the same time. All right, so I want you doing the inward figure eight with your right hand and the outward figure eight with your left hand. Ready, set, go. And now you can choke up on the chucks and hold them into a middle grip, or don't do a high grip, or a middle grip, or a long grip to make it a little bit easier, go to the middle grip. The long grip is a little bit harder. But again, we're doing an inward figure eight with our right hand and an outward figure eight with our left hand. Keep this going. Now, if you can do this first try of double chucks, I will be so impressed. Really impressed, and let me know if you did, because that's awesome. It took me a while. All right, switch sides. We're going to do inward figure eight with the left and outward figure eight with the right. And we got about 20 seconds of this. So just practice this. Like I said, I've never seen anyone be able to do this the first time they tried it. So if you're messing up, who cares? just do it. A few seconds left. And that's time. All right, guys, so if you enjoyed it, remember to like, subscribe, and do all that stuff. Let me know if you were able to do one figure eight that's inward and one that's outward, because, again, I'm going to be super impressed if you can actually do it. Show me a video, too. Don't just say you can do it. All right, guys, have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow.